against one another tonight.
Incredible energy in the building for this one. Coastal Carolina. They're in the blue, and the white, it is Auburn. For the opening tap, and it is controlled by the Chanticleers from Coastal Carolina. Coastal is 5-2 on the season, have not won a road game yet this year. 0-2. First shot attempt off the mark, but Coastal will keep the basketball.
Well, you can see Coach Ellis and Coastal Carolina trying to go where they feel like they have a mismatch. Warren Gillis, the senior, 6'3", 205 pounds, trying to take it inside against Todd Shamsuddin.
Nearly stolen in the backcourt by Harrell. Coastal coming off a win in its most recent game against South Carolina State. Couple of chances at it. Ripped out of there by Bowers, the leading rebounder in the SEC in the early portion of this season.
Yeah, Bowers is a young man who will be important for Auburn tonight. He got in foul trouble early in the Texas Tech game. They can't afford to have him get in foul trouble here tonight. Coastal Carolina comes in out rebounding teams by nearly 11 per game.
For Auburn on Wednesday, it was a loss at Texas Tech, 46-44. On a last-second shot with the shot clock winding down. It's a three-pointer, Shamsuddin.
Shamsuddin has truly impressed me, moving from that one position to the two position, Tom. He's relished in that role, really turned into a prolific scorer for the Tigers this year.
Second all-time meeting between the programs. They met back in December of '95. Coastal lost at Auburn. Cliff Ellis was the coach of Auburn at the time, and a foul goes against the Tigers.
Well, when we spoke with Coach Ellis this morning, you know, obviously he's emotional, but he said, I want to make sure that the kids don't get caught up into the emotion. I want to make sure this is a good game and a game in which we can win. On the other hand, Bruce Pearl said we got in at 2 o'clock from Texas Tech, and he was concerned about his team being fatigued.
Foul on the rebound attempt goes against Curtis. That's the first on Curtis.
Tristan Curtis, the 6'7", 220-pound junior out of Nassau, Bahamas, played at Lamar High School in Texas. Now into the starting lineup and really brings a lot as far as defending and rebounding.
Straight away three, and it's all net. Harrell. Rejection at the other end. Granger made the play on the defensive end. And the Tigers turn it into points. Another three. Ross Miller can't knock it down from 20 feet, 9 inches away. Out of bounds in Tiger basketball.
KT Harrell's kind of the unsung hero for Auburn. Prolific scorer here in the SEC, and Bowers just kind of moved himself down. Officials allow you to do that if you're kind of rolling away from the screen. And that allowed him to get open for that three-point jump shot. Of course, KT Harrell, coach's preseason all-SEC team, second-team selection, has continued to play well this year.
It's a foul on the drive against Coastal.
You know, that's intriguing, Tom, because Badu Jane actually jumped at Jordan Granger, because Jordan Granger, even though he started out going 0 of 2 from behind the three-point line, he's actually continued to work on that outside shot, and since then been 6 of 11, shooting 54%. And you can tell that he has made extremely large strides playing perimeter basketball this year.
Harrell, the three ball. for 4 from beyond the arc in the first half against Coastal Carolina. And the shots are yet to score. 9-zip Auburn. Chang had it stripped away. Outlet to Harrell, couldn't catch up with it, and taken back by Cameron. Josh Cameron, the leading scorer for this team. 14.6 points per game. This time he throws it away and then commits the foul.
Right now, Coach Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers doing what they've done all year. You know, as they went into the Texas Tech game, they were turning teams over 23% of their possessions. So what that does is that tells you that Auburn is not just a defensive team, but they're a defensive team that uses that defense to create their offense. And they've done that today, and it's leading into a 9-0 lead.
This time the 3 misfires from Shamsuddin, but run down to the backcourt by Ross Miller. Couple of 3-pointers from KT Harrell and one from Shamsuddin. All the scoring so far. Bowers twists toward the rim, and he's denied.
When you're on the road like this, sometimes you just need to see a basket go through.
Cameron.
Nice
Quick
job
hands.
boxing out by the Tigers.
This is Granger lining up with 3.
For young players that are watching right now, you start out on the road like this, shots aren't going down. You want to try to go to the basket, try to draw a foul, get something easy at the rim.
And now Coastal on the board. They were 0 for 7 prior to that. Gillis gets it going for Coastal.
Well, Warren Gillis couldn't have came at a better time for Coastal Carolina. We talked about the emotions, right? The list can go on. Marquise Daniels, Scotty Pullman, Bryant Smith. There's a lot of good guys on that basketball team that really contributed. Right now, a lot of guys contributing for Auburn defensively. Coastal Carolina only 1 of 8 from the field thus far in the game.
Auburn has made just 1 of its last 5 field goals, but does lead by 7. Another 3.
Yeah, Tom, right now the Chanticleers, they're just shell-shocked right now. The pressure defensively, Auburn's playing extremely well. This is an Auburn team, let's remember, that knocked off Oregon State, that actually played Texas Tech extremely well. I thought they had Tubby Smith and Texas Tech beat. Just some things that didn't go their way down the stretch.
Lang has picked up his first foul for Auburn. Bruce Pearl, first season on the bench, but 20th overall. 465 wins for Coach Pearl, wins 76% of his games. You know, he is excellent at home throughout his career. 270 wins against just 31 losses on the home court for Bruce Pearl, trying to return the Auburn program to its mystique and magic of the late 90s and the era of Cliff Ellis, who has returned with his Coastal Carolina team tonight.
It's intriguing. Coach Bruce Pearl's only 1 of 7 active head coaches to lead his team to 10 NCAA Sweet 16s. As you see Jordan Granger with an opportunity for the three-point play the old-fashioned way. And, Tom, I think it's a testament to Bruce being able to do it on so many levels. And one of the things that he does is he instills confidence in all of his players. The difference between Jordan Granger this year and last year is astronomical. And the young man feels like he's in a flex zone. Tom Wormy comes up a little short on the free throw.
Granger, the junior from St. Louis, Missouri. He's only been to the line 7 times this year. Had made 4 of his previous 6 attempts before missing on that one. That's a three for Coastal, and Josh Cameron, his first points of the evening.
Josh Cameron is the man who they expect to score right now. 14 points in their previous outing.
Canada misses. Granger does not.
Jordan Granger, 6'8", 210 pounds, out of St. Louis, Missouri. You know, he's averaging 5 points a game and 4 rebounds, but also 6 assists. That shows you what type of player he is. This entire team for the Auburn Tigers plays very unselfish.
Harrell. Another three, his third of the ball game. Range, but KT Harrell has made all 3 of his attempts from beyond the arc. Harrell had 17 points in that loss to Texas Tech. Went 3 of 9 from long distance in that one. He's been the leading scorer 5 of 6 games this season for Auburn, and he is well on his way again tonight against Coastal Carolina out of the Big South. Reload for Cameron, and this time he hits.
Josh Cameron, integral part on this team. Helped them to a Big South title last year, led them to the NCAA tournament, and right now he's trying to help his team claw their way back in a very hostile environment here in Auburn Arena.
Steal for Cameron, and it's an easy layup. 8 points now for Josh Cameron.
And if you're Auburn right here, what you have to be concerned with is when the shooting stops. We talked about how shooting cures all ills. Right now, Auburn shooting 58% from the field and 56% from the three-point line. When those shots start to fall, you have to wonder, will those legs still be there?
Burrell tried to feed it out. A foul on the play as Jack Purchase reached in. That'll be his first. So we will step aside for a timeout from Auburn, Alabama. It is a 9-point Tiger lead against Cliff Ellis.
Here on the Plains, as excited as you've seen them probably since the Cliff Ellis era.
He's done it every step of the way. 6 years at Tennessee and 6 NCAA tournaments, including 2 Sweet 16s and an Elite 8 in 2010 for that Tennessee program. With Bruce Pearl as its head coach, he is back at the SEC with the Auburn Tigers. Jang with the offensive rebound, traveling violation against Coastal, and the ball's going back to Auburn.
You see a mixture of 2 teams grabbing possessions in alternate ways, Tom. For Coach Cliff Ellis and the Chanticleers, what they're doing is trying to go to the offensive glass, getting themselves extra possession. For Auburn Tigers and Coach Bruce Pearl, they're trying to turn Coastal Carolina over to get their extra possessions.
Auburn's been to the NCAA tournament 8 times, but as Damian mentioned, the last coming in 2003. There's also trips in 99 and 2000 when Damian Fishback was wearing an Auburn uniform.
Yeah, Tom, back in 2003, that team was actually knocked out by Carmelo Anthony, the Syracuse Orange Man. If not for that, obviously they won the NCAA championship that year. We don't know how far Auburn could have went.
Well defended by the Tigers, but scooped up by Coastal. Cameron. Long distance. He thought there was contact. The officials let him play.
And Coach Bruce Pearl is livid on that sideline. If you know Coach Bruce Pearl, he is a toughness type of guy. And the last thing that he wants to see is his team getting ousted on the glass. Right now, Coastal Carolina taking it to Auburn on the offensive glass.
Whistle before the play can develop on the entry to Bowers. It'll be a foul against Coastal Carolina. The other thing Coach Pearl doesn't want to see is turnovers. 3 straight trips prior to this one for Auburn, and it has turned the basketball over. Bruce Pearl, also the head coach at Wisconsin-Milwaukee, took that program to the NCAA tournament twice. In 2005, they went to the Sweet 16. That was in the early 2000s for Coach Pearl, as Gillis comes back in for Coastal. Harrell open. He's not going to miss. When he's open like that, his fourth three of the game. And he is 4 for 4 from deep. Gillis double teamed. Won't fall for Curtis. And a fresh shot clock for Coastal.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, Tom. Coastal Carolina winning the rebounding war 10-9 and actually 6-2 on the offensive glass. If you're Auburn right now, shooting's going well. You're turning Coastal Carolina over. You've got a 12-point lead. But as this game continues to go on, those offensive rebounds will lead to productive offensive execution. You've got to do a better job of putting your body on someone.
Shamsuddin picked up his first personal foul. Underneath and open is Wiggins.
Very rare do you see that happen to a Bruce Pearl team. They are excellent on out-of-bounds under. Right now, if you're Auburn, you want to try to get the basketball inside to Bowers. One thing about Coach Bruce Pearl, though, he lets his guys take shots.
Coastal wants to run, and it is Wiggins with back-to-back buckets for the shot to clears, and he's got 4.
Wiggins, who started his career at Mount St. Mary's, mid-major national freshman of the year in 2012-13, is continuing to play well for the Chanticleers.
Burrell misses his first three-point attempt of the night. He's got 4 made. That is just 2 below his career high of 6 after misfiring on that attempt. This Auburn crowd is into this game. It is the return of Cliff Ellis, who spent 10 years as the head coach of the Tigers. Took him to 3 NCAA tournaments. And Coastal now on a 6-0 run, and all of those points belong to Wiggins.
As a player, Tom, you notice things that the average fan doesn't see. You see a little fatigue and comfort settling in for Auburn right now. For Coach Bruce Pearl, I'm sure he'll let them know about this at their timeout. But Auburn right now playing good basketball, buddy. 22-16.
Guys, they're playing hard. It's just a great atmosphere.
Marquise, I get to sit with this guy, Damian Fishback, several times during the course of the basketball season. But what was it like to be a teammate of this fine young man to your right?
We used to have to battle each other every day in practice. So, you know, after practice, we was friends, but during practice, we didn't like each other.
And Marquise, just lastly, this Auburn program, such a bright future with Coach Pearl coming and taking over.
Yeah, definitely. You know, just look at the guys, the atmosphere, like I said, the guys behind us. Everything is great right now. So it's just good to be back here. In a couple of years, the sky's the limit for them.
Marquise, we thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the ball game. Great to have you with us.
Definitely.
That's Marquise Daniels, who was a teammate of my broadcast partner, Damian Fishback, and kind enough to give us some of his time. There will be a reunion of some former players with Coach Ellis after the game tonight. And these two guys will be there. It really is a celebration of college basketball for both this Auburn and Coastal program. And we told you that Coach Pearl made sure that Cliff Ellis and Coastal came this year. It's a 3-game set. Auburn will go to Coastal next year, and the shots will return the following season. Basket up and good. Casey Ross Miller.
Yeah, Ross Miller has been the best penetrator and creator on this team. They're a much better team with him in the basketball game. His ability to pressure on the ball defensively and get to the rim separates Auburn.
And that bucket ended a 6-0 run from Coastal Carolina. Cameron misses. Bowers, the one-handed outlet up to Harrell. They threw it into the seats.
And Tom, that's what I mean, and that's what the concern with Coach Bruce Pearl was about fatigue. That is a fatigue type of pass. That's a, we got up on this team, we're comfortable, you know, we're kind of going through the motions a little bit, and that's the danger zone that Auburn has here. They have to keep the same intensity that they came out with early.
Coach Ellis's team is hanging tough with the Auburn Tigers. Coach Ellis, one of 2 coaches to win at least 100 games at 4 different programs. He's also the head coach at Clemson and took that program to 3 NCAA tournaments. And South Alabama to 2 NCAA appearances. Now the light of the backboard went on, but the shot clock still had plenty of time on it for Coastal. Just a 3 from the corner.
Beautiful ball movement, and Todd Shamsuddin continuing to impress. We talked about him moving from the point guard to the shooting guard role. He is a little undersized at 5'9", but his heart is much bigger than most of his adversaries.
Couple of threes in the game for Shamsuddin, and 6 points. 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Inside of 5 minutes to go in the first half. Shot clock dips below 10. That is kicked by the defending of Ross Miller.
And this is what we talked about right here. Auburn pushing tempo, scoring before the defense allows or gets set up, which doesn't allow the defense to move. We talk about it so often. Early offense is often the best offense. And Siobhan Wiggins was trying to guard 2 people. And in the game of basketball, that smells trouble.
Tigers now 7 of 13 from outside of 20 feet 9 inches away. Coastal with the ball, trailing 27-16. Shot clock to 3. That is off of Wiggins, out of bounds, and back to the Tigers.
Yeah, Tom, that's outstanding pressure, like a swarm of bees that time. And you know, Wiggins is a guy who, we talked about him starting his collegiate career at Mount St. Mary's. You know, he averaged 9 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists there, but he is a guy who has secured the starting role as a point guard, but is struggling a little bit here tonight against the pressure defense of the Tigers.
Offensive foul as Ross Miller tried to drive to the basket.
Nice job of Wiggins going out, giving up his body to get it back. And defensively, Auburn did an outstanding job in the first half, around the first 10 minutes against Texas Tech, holding them to the low teens as far as points. And defensively, they're going to make it tough for you to just get the basketball across the court.
It was a heartbreaking loss for this Auburn program. Devontae Williams from Texas Tech with a driving layup with 1 second left. Shamsuddin missed a half-court shot that hit the backboard, then the rim. And ultimately, the Red Raiders won at 46-44 in Lubbock. Diving hustle from Canada. Time out of the court. 3:52 to go in the first half. Auburn on top.
For making this happen.
1999, 29 victories, a school record, SEC champs, and a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Coming up at halftime, we'll have more of that conversation between Cliff Ellis and our own Damian Fishback, who was a part of that 99 team that made it to the Sweet 16. Cliff Ellis in 99 named the National Coach of the Year in college basketball. Shot clock just about to run out on Coastal. There is 1 second left on the shot clock as it went out of bounds, but Coastal maintains possession.
And this 1 second, Tom, extremely difficult going against Coach Bruce Pearl's teams. They make it so tough for you to get the basketball inbounds, much less score with 1 second.
The tip by Curtis never hit the rim, so it is a shot clock violation against the Chants.
And back to Coach Ellis' time, it was intriguing. And I think it's very profound how close these coaches have become. You know, they talked about one another in the shoot-arounds. Coach Ellis said, Bruce is going to know exactly how I feel when he goes back to Tennessee. And Bruce Pearl said, I felt what Coach Ellis is feeling right now when I was let go of Tennessee. So these coaches can relate to one another. There's mutual respect, and they are mutual competitors here tonight.
Auburn will be at Tennessee on January 31st. There is work to do prior to that for Coach Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers. After going 14-16 last year and 6-12 in conference play. Cliff Ellis has coached against Auburn before as the head coach of South Alabama in 1983 and the Clemson head coach in 1993, and he won both of those games against the Tigers as the opposing head coach. Trying to go 3-0 with his shot to clears tonight. Off the rim for Cameron. Comes back to Wiggins. Cameron has some space, blocked from behind as Canada recovered. And a foul goes against the Tigers.
Well, I thought it was very good penetration by Cameron. And at the end of the day, Waddell was in position, but it was almost his indecision to get there and stay. He almost left the floor a little bit, and I think that was the reason for the block charge. And Waddell played one of the best games I've seen of his career. You know, Waddell is a young man who is actually, he's a junior, he's forward, 6'5", 221 pounds from Summerfield, North Carolina. But he's a second-year walk-on that I thought played sensational basketball. Career-high 19 minutes at Texas Tech and drew 4 charges. He's a young man who played very good minutes against Odiase, a huge guy of Texas Tech, when Bowers got in foul trouble.
Stolen by the Shants. Up ahead. Wiggins tried to follow, and a foul is called as he got tangled up with Canada.
You can't call a foul because he didn't make the layup. That's not what you do.
And this is what Coach Bruce Pearl said he was a little concerned about, his team getting a little fatigued. And the intensity and heart that Coastal Carolina would play with. And Tom, listen, as a player, it is extremely difficult. They don't talk about it much. But you imagine you get on the flight, you come back, you get back Thursday morning at 2 o'clock in the morning, you wake up, you go to classes, you have a little walkthrough, and then before you know it, 24 hours later, the game is here. That's tough no matter how old you are.
And the game with so much significance. And it looks like a lane violation against Coastal Carolina.
And the first sign of pressure we see by Coastal, but a different type of pressure. 2-2-1.
That's a 3. Josh Cameron, that's his 3rd three-pointer of the game. He now has 13 points, and he leads all scorers in our game tonight. The lead has been cut to 6. And, you know, Bruce Pearl wants to test his team out of conference. This is the 5th opponent this season that Auburn has played that participated in the NCAA tournament a season ago. He wants to make sure they're battle ready when they hit that SEC schedule.
He's good for the conference. I have not found anyone that hasn't said how good it is to have Coach Bruce Pearl back in the SEC. His reputation is he'll play anywhere, anytime, and he's going to go in and beat a lot of these teams as well. Like we mentioned, had Texas Tech beat on the road in the SEC Big 12 Challenge.
That a 2-point loss Wednesday at Texas Tech. Auburn shot just 11 free throws and only made 4 of them, providing somewhat of the difference. Again, it was a last-second shot that beat the Tigers, who are now 3-3 on the season. Wiggins dribbled right into trouble. Shamsuddin was guarding him, and he'll pick up the personal foul.
And this is something, as the year continues, Tom, that Coach Bruce Pearl is going to have to deal with. Shamsuddin is an outstanding player. He's a winner. But when you look at Shamsuddin, though, he's 5'9", 170 pounds. And so what they've done is they're trying to isolate Shamsuddin and get him one-on-one in the post area. So he's either going to have to get him help defensively, or they're going to have to play a little bit more zone to try to protect a lot of his players and keep them out of foul trouble.
Shamsuddin now on the bench with Siobhan Wiggins, the sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina, at the free throw line. He rattles home two. That is now 8 points for Wiggins. It's a 7-0 Coastal run as Canada brings it up into pressure. Bowers fouled in the act of shooting, defended by Tristan Curtis.
And Bowers has been a little quiet tonight. You know, Bowers is a guy who started out extremely good. He has 0 points, so he has an opportunity to go up and get a couple of points now. But he's a guy who started out, Coach Bruce Pearl said, and he proved that I'm a junior college All-American and I can come in and get a double-double in the first 4 games. But then once he became the target guy, it became much more difficult for him, and he's struggling tonight with 0 points, even though he has 2 rebounds.
Very first game of his Auburn career was against Wisconsin-Milwaukee, a place where Coach Bruce Pearl coached. He had 18 points and 17 rebounds. Tonight, no points, 2 rebounds for number 5, Bowers.
Yeah, he was second in the country in rebounds going into the Texas Tech game, but you wonder with the young man with his size playing so many minutes if he's getting fatigued as well.
Canada with the block for Auburn out of bounds, and Coastal keeps possession. The hops on display from Malcolm Canada.
Well, this is very difficult to do. Most of your blocks and your good guys who block shots come from off the ball, but Canada doing it on the ball. Nice job of moving his feet, staying under control.
Auburn has not made a free throw in this first half. It's 0 for 3. This one into the backboard, and Wiggins unable to save it.
And that's exactly what Coach Ellis talked about at the shoot-around this morning. He said, we candidly change our out-of-bounds plays. Look at Auburn defensively. They make it difficult for you to even get the basketball inbound. A signature of Coach Bruce Pearl, and those are possessions. Let's remember, before you go to the free throw line, you're in the bonus, so that's 6 possessions a game that you'll have to take it out of bounds.
Bowers had it knocked away. Canada got it back. Lang off the mark with a 3 attempt. Coastal trying to hustle down with Gillis. Now Wiggins. The officials have to confer on this one, and they will award the basketball to the Auburn Tigers. One of the 4 keys to the game was protecting the basketball for Cliff Ellis and Coastal Carolina. 8 turnovers in the game, and Auburn's converted 5 points off of those 8 Coastal turnovers. Again, Auburn is led by as many as 14 in the first half, but right now, 34 seconds to go, and we have a 4-point game.
Obviously, if you're Auburn, you want to enjoy this 4-point lead and make sure that you get the last shot and try to take the momentum going into the half.
Canada controls.
Shamsuddin has re-entered the basketball game offensively. He wants to make sure he doesn't get an offensive foul as well.
This is all Canada on this possession. Harrell. Final second, a 3-point attempt and a foul on the play. Shamsuddin forced up a 3, and there was contact.
With 20 minutes of exciting basketball left to play.
Tigers led by as many as 14 in the first half, ready to crank up the second 20 minutes from Auburn Arena. Tom Wormy, along with former Auburn basketball star Damian Fishback, and our outstanding SEC basketball production crew with you from Auburn, Alabama. Right away, Bowers loses the handle. Cameron wide open. Can't cash it in.
Coach Bruce Pearl a little frustrated. You know, you mentioned that he only got 11 free throws on the road at Texas Tech, and now he's back home. You know, you expect some of those calls to go your way. Bottom line, Auburn, though, they have to do a better job of boxing out and rooting out the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina.
Granger picked up his second foul.
The Chanticleers right now are doing a good job of maintaining patience and trying to get to the rim.
Wiggins. Back to Cameron and a fresh shot clock for Coastal. Again, 13 points in the first half for Josh Cameron, the senior from Racine, Wisconsin. In fact, Bowers is also from Racine, and they played against one another in high school. Back together again on the college basketball court. Traveling violation against the Chanticleers.
Well, and that's what I'm looking for. You know, the Chanticleers have done a very good job of offensive rebounding, making the hustle plays. But that's not normally what you see when you play against Auburn. They're normally the ones that bring the intensity, the activity. Let's see if they have a leader that picks up right now.
Almost the chance at a three-point play on the drive by Casey Ross Miller. Fouled and to the line.
Well, we talked about energy. This is a nice job of good penetration by Ross Miller of trying to get to the rim. And sometimes as a player, when you're a little fatigued, and I see this on Auburn right now, they're wearing it, you have to dig down deep and almost force yourself to do more active things than you normally would do. Even though you're open for a jump shot, press and go to that basket anyway. Even though you feel like you're running hard, run a little bit harder on that fast break, and you tend to get yourself going.
You just saw Casey Ross Miller miss a free throw. That is a rarity. 90% from the line on the season, and he's missed them both. And now Auburn is 0 for 5 from the free throw line in the contest.
It's another sign of fatigue. I mean, he's fourth in the SEC when it comes to free throw shooting. This is where we're going to see the leadership on this Auburn team. And we'll also have to see if Coach Bruce Pearl goes to his zone or tries to go to his bench a little bit.
Damian, the last point for the Tigers in this game came with 5 minutes and 19 seconds left in the first half. They maintained this 4-point lead early in the second.
Well, the Chanticleers are giving them a break right now. And Coach Ellis probably realizes that an opportunity that should have been seized by Coastal Carolina right now. I'd like to see Auburn try to get inside to Mr. Bowers right now. He's a guy who hasn't gotten involved. We know he can score inside, but he hadn't gotten a lot of touches tonight.
He's a junior college transfer, 6'7", 278 pounds, number 5 in white for Auburn. Not yet into the box score. Now the offense starts with 6 on the shot clock. Ross Miller. Contact underneath. Going to keep it at this end of the floor, and the foul against Coastal. It's going to go against Josh Cameron. Second on Cameron.
Well, that's a good job of Jordan Granger fighting through, as we talked about, trying to attack the offensive glass. This game is all about extra possessions. Louisville Cardinals get theirs through turning you over.
Granger with the hook
time by Jordan Granger.
Coastal responds with a 3. Fourth 3 of the game for Josh Cameron. And now 16 points. Ross Miller. Long rebound, Harrell.
You just said it, Tom Wormy. Long shots equal long rebounds. And a good job of Auburn penetrating and kicking and being quicker to the basketball.
Harrell spinning. Does not get the bounce. Second effort in traffic. KT Harrell.
And that's what you expect from your senior, 6'4", 212-pound guard. And look at him on the defensive end. Big-time activity. And we question who would be the leader. KT Harrell fighting inside, scratching, clawing, getting a second opportunity. Going up over the outstretch of Tristan Curtis and converts on the interior.
14 points for Harrell, 5 of 9 from the floor, and 4 of 5 from three-point distance. All of those attempts coming in the first half for KT Harrell. He's a senior on this team from Montgomery, Alabama, transferred from Virginia. Played a couple of years there. He has now scored in double figures 35 of his last 37 games. And he knocks down a three right on cue.
Coach's preseason All-SEC second-team selection showing you that I'm the leader on this Auburn Tiger team. Be interested to see who responds from Coastal Carolina.
And now 5 three-pointers in the game for KT Harrell. 8-point advantage for Auburn in the second half. Led by 4 at halftime. Shot clock at 5. Cameron. How did he sneak in there? 6'1" Josh Cameron got the offensive board and put back. Canada travels and turns it back over to Coastal Carolina. What a game tonight. Bruce Pearl, Cliff Ellis, Tigers and Shantz. Coastal Carolina here at Auburn Arena. Electricity in the building tonight. A night of emotion with the return of Cliff Ellis. 5th year in this facility for the Auburn Tigers, and season tickets sold out for the first time in arena history this year with Bruce Pearl taking over as the Tigers head coach. Harrell goes up high to grab that rebound.
Much better bounce in the step of Auburn Tigers right now after that timeout. Looks like they're fighting through it, but that's a short shot by Shams Sadine. But Coastal Carolina continuing to allow missed opportunities. And for Auburn, as long as you keep this 6-point advantage, you're in a pretty good situation, but you allow a team to stay close on the road like this. Let's remember, Tom, this is a team that won the Big South Championship last year, that went and played Virginia, a very good team in the first round. We obviously know they're a top team 10 this year, extremely well also in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Lost just 70-59 against Virginia in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Technically the first game in the tournament for Coastal as the champs of the Big South tournament, defeating Winthrop 76-71 a season ago. Canada thought about a three. This will be a three. Ross Miller. His first three of the game. And the 9th of the game for the Auburn Tigers. They stretched the lead in the second half to 9.
It's intriguing, Tom. We've yet to really see a lot of inside presence by either team here this evening.
Ross Miller pushes it up. Canada. We crossed the 14-minute mark of the second half. Coastal Carolina 5-2 on the season, but 0-2 away from Conway, South Carolina. Tigers are 2-0 at Auburn Arena. Bauer's got a piece of it. Shams Sadine will dribble it up.
Nice job of the big man boxing out with the rebound, which leads to the trifecta by KT Harrell and Coach Cliff Ellis. Over 100 points, Tom, and this is a team, once they get going, you know, they don't have a lot of bigs on the interior, but basically, besides Simeon Bowers, they have a team full of guards, and so they have the ability to penetrate and kick and really stretch you out defensively.
Touchdown pass up ahead for Coastal. And fouled on the attempt was Elijah Wilson.
That was a nice job of the preseason Big South second teamer, Elijah Wilson, getting out on the break. And you look at the big guy right there, Simeon Bowers, and he just looks tired. And you have to remember, this is a young man who is really holding down that paint area by himself night in and night out. And Odiase of Texas is another guy who has good size, and he goes and battles him, and now he's battling the likes of Jane and Curtis tonight. He's so critical for this Auburn Tiger team.
Coastal got it back on the miss from the line by Wilson. Wiggins with a quick trigger. It's up for grabs and a whistle.
And Tom, that doesn't look like a lot, but that's what you have to do when you have one big guy. Casey Ross Miller salvaged that possession for his team. We talked about it being a team full of guards. For Coastal Carolina, they have to continue to attack the glass, and with Auburn, they have to rebound by committee. Beautiful.
Ross Miller, no look. Harrell couldn't get it up over the rim. Defended by the Shants. Basket and foul. Warren Gillis took it all the way to the rack, and he's got a chance at a three-point play. Second foul on Malcolm Canada.
Warren Gillis, a tough competitor. You don't see many times where you would advise a man to go through three defenders. But a nice job of maintaining his composure, getting into the teeth of the defense, and able to draw the contact and keep the focus and concentration to score the basket as well.
Damian, how about that slow-mo look from the truck? Outstanding work by our SEC basketball production crew as you watch Warren Gillis just glide through the air and complete the three-point play. He now has 5 points.
Well, he was the Big South Tournament MVP in 2014. And of course, Big South preseason first team this year.
Only had 8 points in the game against South Carolina State, which was a win, 66-52 in the most recent game for Coastal. That snapped a streak of 27 straight games in double figures for Gillis. You've heard us say Chanticleers as the nickname many times tonight. It comes from Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. A Chanticleer is a rooster who rules the barnyard with cunning and wit. And there's some creative moves by the Shants. They come up empty, though, and a foul on the play. Minanga and his third. Did you get that, Damian? A rooster with cunning and wit. Right now it's the Tigers who have the advantage by 8 over the cunning Roosters, the Chanticleers from Coastal Carolina.
For Coastal Carolina fans, I apologize. I think I've butchered the Chanticleers' names 2 or 3 times.
That's a
if you've heard it, charge it to my head and not to my heart, ladies and gentlemen.
Great to be with Damian Fishback on this wonderful night of energy, electricity, and emotion as Bowers is fouled going to the rim.
You know, Tom, I've seen Simeon Bowers play quite a few games, watched the Oregon State game, saw him against Texas Tech, had him against Louisiana Lafayette earlier this year. This is the most fatigue that I've ever seen him. And you know, you mentioned that he was a young man who has good size and 6'7" and 278 pounds, but the junior out of Chipola Junior College is really fighting through it tonight.
First point of the game for Bowers. Coming up Tuesday, don't miss the final episode of the season for the new college football show with Bates and Bowden. Crunch time as James Bates, Tommy Bowden separate the pretenders from contenders. Football's best battle for a shot in the playoffs. The new college football show right here on your regional sports network with our colleagues James Bates and Tommy Bowden, former Clemson Tiger coach. Pulled down by T.J. Lang.
Yeah, T.J. Lang, obviously the son of Antonio Lang, part of that Duke 1991-92 championship by Krzyzewski, and he's helping keep his Auburn Tigers in this game right now. 9-point lead here at Auburn.
Talking to a lot of different people prior to the game. There was a reunion in the summer, but technically it was not on campus. So this trip for Coach Ellis to Auburn Arena, the first back to campus since he left his head coaching post for the Auburn Tigers. Took the Tigers to that SEC tournament championship game in 2000. Shot clock was winding down for the Chanticleers, and they turn it over. The spin off the rim and then rejected, but before that there was a whistle. Ross Miller was trying to get that one over the rim. And again, the summertime brought the team together. I think we can find Damian Fishback in that picture as well. Lower left, second from the left. All around, the great coach, Cliff Ellis, Damian.
Well, there's a lot of important faces that were all part of that program, and it was a very important reunion. A couple of other faces that are actually here tonight. Chuck Person, who's on the staff for Coach Bruce Pearl. You know, Coach Bruce Pearl talked to us about how important he was as well. And Chuck Person, who came back when Coach Bruce Pearl got here, you know, you have to remember, he's a guy that worked and played for the likes of Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich, Larry Bird, Rick Carlisle. And so he's a legend here at Auburn. And his NBA experience that he brings to the staff, you see his number retired there, along with Coach Sonny Smith, who now does the color analyst for Auburn Radio. Very impactful here at Auburn as well.
Chuck Person, the Auburn all-time leading scorer, 2,311 points. He and the Tigers into this one. The Shots have their attention and down by 10 inside of 11 minutes to go in our game. Long-range three, knocking it down. Warren Gillis. First three of the night for him at 8 points. 6 coming in the second half for Gillis.
Well, he's the only player on Coastal Carolina that actually has more than 2 years of experience with this team. And what a big shot that he knocks down as he gets a foul trying to fight through the screen. But Auburn ready to try to close the door here with 10:37 left. And Coastal Carolina just not allowing him to do that. Lang had his hand up. That's a good contest. Just a bigger and better shot by Mr. Gillis.
Gillis on the night, 3 of 8 from the floor. That was his first three-point attempt with Canada at the free throw line for Auburn.
Malcolm Canada, the 6'3", 225 guard out of Austin, Texas. You know, he really played backup point guard in 2013 and 14, but he's really taken the Bruce Pearl style of play. He's logging in more minutes. And alongside Casey Ross Miller and Taj Shamsuddin, he's shooting well, about 41% from the floor and 81% from the free throw line.
Canada with a couple of free throws. Oh, Canada. He's only missed 2 free throws on the season. He's now 11 of 13 from the line, and the Tigers needed those to go up 44-35. Tipped up, comes off. Fresh shot clock for the Shots. Wiggins wastes no time. Harrell on the run for the Tigers. Bowers on the block. Couldn't spin it in. Wilson hard to the rim. And a foul.
You hear some oohs and ahs from the crowd, but when you're coming down like this, you got to give credit to Canada. Just wanting to make sure that Wilson didn't get that easy basket. These are important and critical free throws for Coastal Carolina right now.
Gave that foul to Harrell. It was his first. Wilson missed them both out of bounds in Tiger basketball.
Uncharacteristic for Wilson. You know, Wilson set a freshman scoring record last year. He's a gym rat that's just struggled from the field, really loves the three. You remember all those incredible freshmen last year with Wiggins? He was a man that was in the top 15 scoring amongst those freshmen, so you know he's a guy who can put up points.
Yeah, Wilson had 537 points in his freshman campaign, but he's just 1 of 4 from the free throw line. All the attempts coming in the second half for Wilson.
To give you an idea of how good Elijah Wilson is, he attended the same high school, Laney High School in Wilmington, North Carolina, as Michael Jordan, where he tied his single game scoring record. Pretty impressive by the young man, but you see Coach Ellis trying to talk to him. Coach Ellis always teaching, coaching, cares so much about his players, and trying to instill some confidence in a young man here tonight.
Shamsuddin is at the line, now has 7 points. Scores from around the SEC. The Kentucky Wildcats remain undefeated with a victory over Texas. Florida has the lead on Kansas. It's a Florida team that just 3-3 so far in the season. And Oklahoma leading Missouri. Part of the Big 12 SEC Challenge. And this Auburn team almost went on the road against Texas Tech in that challenge and won, if not for a last-second shot by the Red Raiders.
Tom, that was a nice job by our veteran officiating crew, Joe Lindsey, that time. There were some words between Bowers and Dang, and Joe Lindsey nipped it in the bud immediately to keep this game under control.
Gillis.
Have to know where this young man is. Very versatile player, can play the point guard, shooting guard, or the small forward. Leads his team in assists this year and last year, but comes up with a big basket there.
11 points for Gillis, just 1 below his season average of 12. 9 in the second half. Warren Gillis, the senior from Philly for Coastal. Shot clock is at 10. Morrell must recognize, lost the handle, and stolen by Gillis. Traveling against the shots as Cameron tried to run it up.
And that was a nice job by Shamsuddin. Coach Ellis has his hands over his head. So anxious to get out and go. Shamsuddin doing a good job of getting out there and getting himself in the pathway.
Shamsuddin has 8 points on the night, also a season high 5 assists. This is now Canada. Easy rebound for Josh Cameron. The difference is 8. Coastal's been as close as 3.
Nice pass.
Tipped up and in. Tristan Curtis, first basket of the game, and a big one. Morrell with the quick trigger, knocks it down for 3.
There was a question earlier in this basketball game.
Tigers a 9-point lead. Again, it was a 3-point difference. Just about 2.5 minutes into this half, 29-26 Tigers. Auburn led by as many as 14 in the first half and had a 4-point lead at halftime. Cameron threw it right to Cliff Ellis, who wanted to slam that ball into the court. A little bit of frustration, but you have to give the Chants credit. Hanging with the Tigers. It's a 9-point game. 7:42 to go from Auburn, Alabama. Cliff Ellis, the former Auburn coach. A decade of success with the Tiger program. Miller.
Oh, that's nice.
Went past 3 defenders. Maybe deserved a better fate after all of that effort.
Yeah, you got to finish that at the rim. Leaves the door open for Coastal Carolina. And if you're Coastal right now, you've got to make your move right now. 7 minutes left to go. You're down now points on the road. Now's the time to either score or get fouled, and also try to get you some consecutive defensive stops.
Burrell helped on defense against Cameron. All the way across the court. Chang.
Chang has the ability to stroke it from behind the arc. That's the one thing about Coach Cliff Ellis at Coastal Carolina. He allows the freedom and range of each player on his team to shoot the basketball from behind the three-point line.
First points of the game from Badu Dieng have cut the lead to 6 for Auburn. 7 made threes in the game for Coastal. Ross Miller stepped inside the arc. Foul against the Shunts.
Nice job of Waddell that time, trying to get in there, and has an opportunity now to get to the free throw line and get him a couple of points. Again, he played extremely well on the road at Texas Tech, and that's a lesson for young players at home. You may not be getting the minutes that you want, but you come in, take advantage of your opportunity, and it usually will lead to more minutes in future games.
Jordan Granger comes in for the Auburn Tigers. One of 2 for Waddell. And his first point of the night makes it a 7-point lead for Auburn. Approaching 6 minutes remaining. In a night that has seen just about everything. This crowd welcoming back Cliff Ellis with his Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Pass in tight quarters, fumbled to the court. The possession arrow favors Coastal, but did they call a timeout?
Be the team that we know Coach Billy Donovan is capable of putting them in, but it won't happen overnight.
Gators maintain a 5-point lead in the second half against Kansas. Part of the SEC Big 12 challenge. That is a foul as Wiggins was driving, and Granger got a piece of him.
Well, that's the correct decision for Coastal Carolina right now. I mean, if you want to get back in this basketball game, you don't want to throw up a barrage of three-point shots. Instead, Wiggins has the right idea. You go to the free throw line, try to score while the clock is stopped.
So Wiggins tonight 2 of 3 from the line. 8 points, but has not scored yet in the second half.
He's a young man that you watch him in previous games. I mean, he shoots 50% from the three-point line. He has the ability to knock down the shots, but a lot of times he tends to defer. And I think Coach Ellis and the staff wants him to be more aggressive offensively.
Michelle Anunga has come back into the game for Coastal as Wiggins converts on both. And is now 4 of 5 from the line. He's into double figures with 10 points. That's right about his average for the season so far for the sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina. The lead just 5 for the Tigers. Burrell trying to work against the double team. Does not get the bounce. Waddell came in over the top. Ball back to Coastal.
This is a dangerous zone for Auburn. Again, this crowd here kind of quiet. And right now, Coach Bruce Pearl sensing that. He's one guy that you'll always see perspiration, sweating. He's in the game just as much as his players are. That confidence, that intensity that he's going to bring the entire game. And I think these guys at Auburn right now need the fans to get more involved.
Coach Pearl so animated and invested in this Auburn program. There's Wiggins.
Another offensive rebound by Coastal Carolina.
Gillis couldn't get the 3 to fall, but there was a whistle and a foul against the Tigers on the glass.
And right now, if you look at that sideline, Mr. Bowers checking in for Auburn. These are going to be critical minutes. Coach Bruce Pearl took him out of the game, realizing he had to get him some type of rest, but I would expect him to go the last 4 minutes and 42 seconds.
Bowers tonight just 1 point, 0 of 4 from the floor. Missed his only 3-point attempts, 1 of 4 from the free throw line. Strong move inside, Badu Jang. And this is as close as Coastal has gotten. Remember, early in the half, 29-26, and now it is 50-47. Shansa fought back, and now they turn over the Tigers.
That's fatigue.
Keep in mind, Coach Cliff Ellis has coached against Auburn twice and beaten them twice as the head coach at South Alabama and Clemson, and now it's just a 1-point game. Warren Gillis, 13 points and 11 in the second half. A 6-0 run for Coastal Carolina. And you know that these young men want to come in here and give their coach Cliff Ellis a victory on the road at a place where he had such great success. Ross Miller was open for 3. And now Coastal has a chance to take the lead. It would be its first of the game. Auburn has led the entire distance. 3.5 minutes to go. That's a 3. Cameron on the glass.
And right now, Coastal Carolina with 16 offensive rebounds and a 13-5 edge of second chance points. The glass, another sign of fatigue and just not boxing out by the Tigers.
Granger missed. It is off of Auburn and back to Coastal. Josh Cameron, 6'1", snuck in there and put it back up. He's got 20.
Bring a few things to the table. I think he's one of the best preparation coaches in the country. They're always going to attack the glass offensively. We mentioned that they came into this game ousting their opponents by 11 per game. And tonight, their offensive rebounds are 16-8, led to 15-5 on second chance points. And they're winning the rebounding award 38-26. Where Auburn has fallen short thus far are the turnovers. They normally turn their teams over a lot more, but the turnover edge is even tonight, 13-14. And my guess is that's because of fatigue, a 2:45 arrival, and they're just having to fight through it tonight.
Shots are working on an 8-0 run. Gillis, front rim. Coach Ellis has been here before, former head coach of the Clemson Tigers, went to Clemson in 2011 with Coastal Carolina and beat the Tigers. Trying to do the same thing to Auburn. Harrell trying to have something to say about it, and it spins off. Wiggins. Foul by Bowers, and his second.
And this is a lesson for college athletes on every level. What you see from Bowers, and you saw him shake his head, what you see from the Auburn Tigers as well is they're trying to turn it on. That's very difficult to do in any sport. It's very difficult to hit that button and try to get yourself to go harder once you've kind of got into that coasting or gate mode. And that's what Auburn's trying to do now, hands on their knees. You see it from some of the Coastal Carolina's players as well. Auburn had a chance earlier to close the door, but now they've allowed Coastal to hang around. And we've got an old-fashioned barn burner, as I mentioned, in a big-time dogfight.
That is 1 of 2 from Siobhan Wiggins. Quickly down the court, Ross Miller. Prior to the shot with the whistle. Foul is on Wiggins. Again, Auburn in the double bonus and trailing by 2. Ross Miller now is 0 for 3 from the free throw line.
Let's remember, that's the KC Ross Miller who came into this game 4th in the SEC in free throw shooting at 90%. 19 of 21 coming into this game tonight.
What a move by Josh Cameron. 22 points on the night. Coastal by 3. 1 minute, 50 seconds to go. Shamsuddin with a pull-up. Too strong. Granger tried to follow it, the foul against Coastal.
You talked about letting the team hang around in Coastal Carolina, doing a nice job of pushing, getting out on the break, and Cameron using the Euro step to get to the rim and finish off the glass.
Granger at the free throw line, 0 for 2 from the line so far. He's only been 9 times this season. That's a big one there for Granger. And now 5 points. 2-point game. Turnover. Right back to Wiggins. And a foul.
That's horrible.
Shamsuddin sprawled out in midcourt.
Blowing the game. You are blowing the game.
And what Coach Bruce Pearl was saying was that he felt like there was actually a walk on the play by Wiggins before the foul was called.
Missed the front end of the 1-and-1.
We got us a good one, don't we, Tom Wormy?
1:24 to go. Dropping the hammer. Jordan Granger. And it's 54 all. Chang with the hoop. And 7 points for him. Under a minute to play.
Auburn has 2 timeouts right now.
3. Rattles out for Ross Miller. And now 40 seconds.
8-second differential between the shot clock. 2 timeouts apiece for the coaches, and Coach Bruce Pearl and Auburn are going to decide to play it out. If you get a stop here for Auburn, you have to secure it and watch the offensive glass. We've seen it all night.
Gillis. Got it.
Got to push and score quick right now.
3-pointer. That's off the mark. And corralled by Cameron. Ross Miller. 2 3-point attempts in the last 2 sequences. Can't get him to drop. And now just 4.6 seconds to go. And Coastal's on the line with a 4-point lead.
And right now, you see some excitement on behalf of Coastal Carolina. We mentioned this is the first time Coach Cliff Ellis has been back in 10 years.
The miss and a timeout.
And I like the timeout called by Coach Bruce Pearl. Point. Coastal Carolina and Coach Cliff Ellis taking advantage right now with a 4-point lead down the stretch.
We were tied at 54. Here's the long pass. Coastal has it, and the shots have done it. They have come to Auburn, Alabama, and upset the Tigers.